The Doctrine, Tenets of the Heathen-Cyrus, Scofield. This is part 2. I knew that I said that I would do another follow-up that was biblically referenced, but after doing more research and seeing that I would take a lot more time to do what I would try to do and then possibly still not convey the message. So what I decided to do was, in the good old fashion of, in their words, not mine's. Right now we are at www.sweetliberty.org/issues/hoax/Scofield.htm. And this following is an excerpt from the Unified Conspiracy Theory. One moment. The information is intended to supplement the references to C.I. Scofield and Charlie Sample's The Greatest Hoax. To begin to understand the hoax, the lies into which we've all been born. Both of the above linked articles are strongly recommended. Don't worry, when I post this video, this link will be in the description box. Now, once again, this is one part that I will have to interject, and then I will do my best to not interject as I go along, just to read it, so you hear it for how it's written. The person writing this is a Christian, okay? Understand, Scofield was supposed to have been a Christian. Listen to what he's getting at. I want you guys to refer back to Genesis 1 creation of the Scofield Reference Bible when I spoke on the names. And I'm going to have a link to the first video in this also. Here we go. The belief, which is in quotations, or quotations, whatever, asterisk, whatever, was injected in our Christian minds as babes that in the end times Jesus will return to reign on the earth for 1,000 years of peace. That's in quotes. This is in parentheses. After which Satan will once again be released, which makes no sense at all anyway. To realize this theory runs on a perfectly parallel path with Talmudic political program of world dominion under the rule of man, who refers to himself as the chosen, to realize that the story is one and is startling to say, the story is one and the same is startling to say the least. The parallel path is not intended to clash, conflict, or cross at some junction, but to slowly and subtly merge together, that we will simply open our eyes one day to the awareness that we are on the same path with two separate destinations in mind. 2,300 years ago, Plato, once again, take this information with a grain of salt. 2,300 years ago, Plato called it the third way. Today, Democrats call it the third way. Republicans call it compassionate conservatism. A merging of what has been presented as diametrically opposed concepts. A merging of what has been presented as diametrically opposed concepts. Jews have been waiting for their Messiah for 3,000 years, while we Christians have been waiting for our Messiah for 2,000. I wanted to point out that when it said that the Jews were waiting for their Messiah is in lowercase m, and the Christians is a uppercase m. I won't get into the timelines and start breaking anything down. It's just take it for what it's worth. And the same small group made up the story for us all. Jesus called the group Pharisees, including with the Pharisees a perpetrator of the lie, the scribes. Today, we call them lawyers. So hundreds of millions of manipulated people excitedly cry, "Bring it on! Bring it on! Bring on the chaos, perversion, death, and destruction. It's in the book. Bring on the vaccines that are killing our children. Bring on the chemtrails that are leaving death and disease. Bring on the New World Order under the control of international Zionist Jews who control their useful idiots at the United Nations. It's God's plan. Bring on the Terminator seed. bovine growth hormone, irradiated food, genetically engineered non-food. Our Messiah is coming. In truth, it is a whopper lie. It is a deadly lie. And if we don't wake up to it, Jew and Christian alike will all be slaves in the end, in a world that, I believe, will be more evil than we could bear to consider or be included in their plans for depopulation. This is the end of Jackie. Begins the excerpts from the Unified Conspiracy Theory. Now we now enter the phase of Illuminati and Great Awakening, Cyrus Scofield, and the subversion of modern Christianity. It's about to get deep, y'all. This is where I need you to go ahead and start holding on to, your hats, because it's about to get real deep. And quotations. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministries also be transformed as the ministries of righteousness. What? Whose end shall be according to their works. Rabbi Saul of Tarsus, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 14 through 15. The key to understanding this in the Hebrew prophecies themselves, it is made absolutely clear that Jews are first to achieve dominion over the nations of earth, and then Zion will be proclaimed over the whole earth. I don't disagree with that. But what they're talking about has nothing to do with what Paul just said. Let me break this down. Let me go ahead and just sidebar real quick. What they just said, and for no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So they're trying to say that Satan's going to get transformed into an angel of light. Right on. And this is Paul trying to make Satan and Lucifer the same thing. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministries also be transformed as the ministries of righteousness. So he's trying to say doing the right thing is the wrong thing, and doing the wrong thing is the right thing. Whose end shall be according to their works. That's fuckery of words, but we're not even going to get into that. Let's skip on down to the next part. That has nothing to do with what he just said about the Jews being first, and then Zion being proclaimed over the whole. It has nothing to do with that at all. But we're going to get to this other part. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and even upon her assemblies, a cloud of smoke by day, and the shining of flaming of fire by night. For upon all glory shall be defense. For upon all the glory shall be a defense. So that's Isaiah 4, 5. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 5. King James Version. I'm not going to break off into that too much. What I will say about that is that still has nothing to do with what he's talking about. That if he's talking about Mount Zion right then and there, then he's talking about the actual glory shall be a defense. Like people will be like, I'm not going over there, bro. You know it's over there. That's Mount Zion, bro. You know what? Oh, bro, I'm not acting stupid. Get out of here. But that's like so far down the line that, once again, I don't expect a heathen Gentile to discern what he's reading and to even take it serious outside of him having salvation. Because that's what this is all about to both of them. One moment. And that's going to be in part 3. A defense against what? If this be the kingdom of Christ Jesus, what need for a defense, Christian? And yet you teach Zion as Jesus' earthly kingdom because this is what your church elders has been taught by Cyrus Scofield, editor of your Bible Concordance. Wow. That's not true. Wow. You hear this, Christian, y'all? You hear this Zeus praiser right here? He's saying the glory, because they're still, I don't think they understand, do they? When Zion is first brought up, man, anyway, man, there's going to be so much going on. We'll see what this heathen is talking about that day. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Whew. He went to great efforts, he being Cyrus Scofield, to great efforts to convince you that Isaiah and Micah's mountain of the Lord's house is supposed to mean the millennial kingdom of Jesus Christ. That is a lie. His argument is a fraud, yet you can't see it. Yeah, the mountain of the Lord's house is not the millennial kingdom of David. Obviously, it's not. So, I mean, that just sounds stupid. It's Mount Zion. Why are they retarded? Is this guy who wrote this article like suffering from? Once again, if I gave him an IQ test based on what I think people who look like me understand, I think he would test clinically retarded based on what he just said about the other man not realizing the fallacies in his own statements. Carrying on. Jesus' kingdom needs no pillar of fire and smoke to protect it. The word Zion in Hebrew means sepulture. Let me go ahead and point something out to y'all. One moment. The Most High created Adam. When he created Adam, one of the charges he gave Adam was to protect the garden. The fact that he would tell a man to have to protect his garden, though his earth is a perfect creation, because there are things within the earth that still have their mind made up to do nefarious things. So when people come to Mount Zion, like my brother's been saying in prophecy, and there's going to be a great day of tumult, right on, the glory of Mount Zion will eventually be a defense for the people. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Anyhow, I want y'all to understand that this man knows not what he speaks at all. One moment. Solomon's temple was built on Mount Moriah, not on Mount Zion. That's okay, because that's Solomon's temple. Right on? Do they not know about David's city? Anyway, Mount Zion lies to the south of the old city, separated by a narrow valley in the southwest of Mount Olives. Mount Zion is also known as Golgotha, the Hill of Skulls, or Calvary. Zion and Calvary are one and the same. Jesus was crucified on Zion. Okay. The Christian confusing of Zion was the rebuilding of the second temple is a mistake. The result of bad geography and metaphorically bizarre Kabbalistic joke. Okay. He doesn't, this guy, once again, take it with a grain of salt, please. Is the sepulcher to be the place of redemption? Freemasonry? The sepulcher is mentioned way before, all throughout the scripture. Who is this one guy once again to try to usurp what a tomb is? A tomb to separate you from everyone else. But that's okay. Jesus was not crucified at the spot where Abraham had built the altar to sacrifice his son Isaac. Was Jesus not sacrificed on the same spot where Abraham had built an altar to sacrifice his son Isaac? What is the relationship between Jesus and Zion? Who taught us to use that word? Can you now see how we have been deceived by our own Christian churches, taught to worship our doom and the Antichrist? Do you hear this guy, y'all? Do you hear this dude? He's dead ass serious. He's dead ass serious. I need y'all to understand. This cat right here is super duper serious. He means it. He does not mean it. He means it. Okay, let's go ahead and keep carrying on. The text of Isaiah 2:1 clearly states, the word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Are you a Jew? Will you be allowed to worship in the third temple when it is built? Methinks not. The third temple is an abomination. This man knows nothing. And if he knew anything, let me go ahead and break something down to y'all real quick. The term Jew, when you look it up and if you really get a true understanding, first off, when you go to the letter J, and I got a sidebar on y'all real quick just to break this down because there's a lot of misunderstanding with the word and the concept. When you go to the word Jew and you look it up, and I've done a lot of research, so before you say anything crazy, look up the tribe of Judah, right on, and then look up the nickname of the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Judah, right on. And the term Jew became a term that they use interchangeably with the tribe of Judah. But what it became even more interchangeably is what they called the Levites and the Benjaminites, who were still amongst the Jews. Do you understand that? So the Yehudites. Even more so, while I'm still here, I wanted to point out while I was doing the spiritual gumbo and their words not mine this season, when I was talking about the Sadducees, I got the feeling that some of the Sadducees were the original Leviticus priests, but that's neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and carry on, please. What was Cyrus Scofield trying to hide from us? The Tetragrammaton appears to have its origin in the phrase found in Exodus 3:14, "I am that I am." That's not true, but I'll break that down in the third batch of this. Not this right now. I've been sidebarring a whole lot. Before it was known as Hemaphoresh, the 72-syllable name of God made up of 216 letters. This is where it gets very interesting. I want y'all to listen to this. The source of Shem Hamaphoresh, according to tradition, are verses 19 through 21 of Exodus chapter 14. Now he just tried to say that it was Exodus 3:14, but now he's trying to say that it's Exodus verses 19 to 21 of chapter 14. That's a contradiction in what he's saying right there alone. So let's just go ahead and hit that in the head. Each of the 3 verses contains 72 Hebrew letters. The letters of verse 19 written down in separated form and in correct order. The letter of verse 20 also in separated form, written down in reverse order, and the letters of 21 written down in correct order. Reading from above down, one obtains 72 3-letter names, all of which combine to make one. Hold on. These 3-letter names were then added either AL or IH to form the names of the 72 angels of Jacob's ladder. Charles Ponce, the Kabbalah. Listen to this right here. They're trying to convolute who you are as a people. If they throw doubt in it when you find it right here, right? See, when I seen it, this strengthened my faith because it made me see they're going. This is a Christian versus another so-called Christian, y'all. This is the satanic people versus the Luciferian people. Do y'all get it? Do y'all really understand how this is working out? Like, and then you have Lucifer fighting his own people. Like, this shit is ugly. It's like a real dirty game. When I read this to y'all, this next part, once again, these next 2 parts, y'all can't feel no type of way. I'm just pointing out what I believe are fallacies in this man's understanding. If you believe I'm wrong, you can go ahead and try to tell me I'm wrong. But please don't make me go to the encyclopedia of information I have gathered on this computer to bow my argument. I'm just saying that from what I understand, this man is a Christian. Off tops, his view is wrong, skewed at best. So when I say that, when he says some of the things that he's saying it out of hate for the Jew, not realizing that the Hebrew Israelite are the people of the Most High. His faith would not be established without Hebrew Israelites. So when he says what he says, it makes no sense. Please understand that. And I thank all of you who have lasted this long. We're almost done. We're halfway through, y'all. Please just give me a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? I just want to read this little more parts. All right. The type of permutation described above is called Tamura, and is a common Kabbalist device. The 3 verses of Exodus 14, 19 through 21 that constitute the Shem Hamaphoresh happen to describe how a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night appeared just prior to Moses leading the Hepadu across the Red Sea into the desert. The Hepadu are supposed to be the Hebrew, I'm assuming, because that's who else did he lead? This is a cipher. So whatever a pillar of fire by night or cloud by day is mentioned in the Bible, one may substitute the Shem Hamaphoresh to obtain the proper Kabbalistic interpretation. That's not true. See, do you understand what these people with the Kabbalah did, and these Talmudic priests? They and the scribes, they have this man so confused that he can't tell that they changed certain things that are true and real to something false, and then things that are false into something true. That's neither here nor there. The Kabbalists know that the Shem Hamaphoresh, the 72-syllable name of God, the 72 angels of Jacob's ladder, the 72 Sanhedrin, are also 72 proper name of daemons, Daemons. Those are demons, y'all. I want y'all to know that. I'm saying, who are sealed in the key of Solomon. This key is used This key is used by practical Kabbalists to construct talismans by which he may summon or conjure these beings. The speculative Kabbalists, the names represent 72 dominions, principalities, elements, powers, and paths of which he seeks mastery. Now do y'all see why? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Part 1, I was not aware of this information. When I voted, my God has one name. My God only has one name. It's not 3. It's not these funny 72 names. It's not 72 3-letter names right on. It's not none of no funny shit like that. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. It's not nothing like that. My God. The Tetragrammaton, who this heathen is attempting in some way, shape, or form to bash and to dethrone from his place of righteousness as the Most High. I'm voting against him right now as I bring you this information to see how hard this man went to prove a man named Cyrus Scofield wrong. One moment. The speculative Kabbalists, the names represent 72 dominions, principalities, elementals, powers, and paths over which he seeks mastery. Keep that in your mind. Thus, from a Kabbalistic perspective, the verse of Isaiah, verse 4 and 5, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 5, is stating that after Mount Zion has been constructed, the deity shall assign 72 daemons, an infernal Sahedrin, if you will, to watch over Zion and protect it. And that, my dear reader, is exactly what Cyrus Scofield called the kingdom of Jesus. That, Christian, is what your ministries taught you Jesus' second coming. Ye worship what you know not. Do I need to read to y'all that Cyrus Scofield was a, you know what? Yeah, I do need to read all this. One moment. Y'all can read the rest of the stuff, but I need to read this part to you. As who was Cyrus Scofield? As a young con artist in Kansas after the Civil War, he met up with John J. Ingalls, an aging Jewish lawyer who had been sent to Atchison by the Secret Six some 30 years before to work the abolitionist cause. What? Are y'all hearing me? Some 30 years before to work the abolitionist cause. Pulling strings in both Kansas and with his compatriots back east, Ingalls assisted Scofield in gaining admission to the bar, procured his appointment as federal attorney for Kansas. Ingalls and Scofield became partners in a railroad scam which led to Cyrus serving time for criminal forgery. While he was in prison, Scofield began studying philosophy of John Darby, pioneer of the Plymouth Brethren movement and the Any Movement Now Rapture Doctrine. Upon his release from prison, Scofield deserted his wife, Leontine Carey Scofield, and his 2 daughters, Abigail and Helen, and he took his mistress, a young girl from the St. Louis Flower Mission. He later abandoned her for Helen Van Ward, whom he eventually married. Following his Illuminati connections to New York, he settled in the Lotus Club, which he listed as a residence for the next 20 years. It was here he presented his ideas for a new Christian Bible concordance and was taken under the wing of Samuel Untermeyer, who later became chairman of the American Jewish Committee, president of the American League of Jewish Patriots, and the chairman of non-sectarian Anti-Nazi League. Untermeyer introduced Scofield to numerous Zionist and socialist leaders, including Samuel Gompers, Foriello LaGuardia, Abraham Strauss, Bernard Barak, and Jacob Schiff. These people who financed Scofield's research trips to Oxford and arranged the publication and distribution of his concordance. It is impossible to overstate the influence of Cyrus Scofield on 20th century Christian beliefs. The Scofield Bible is a standard reference work in which virtually all Christian ministries and divinity schools is the standard reference work in virtually all Christian ministries and divinity schools. It is singularly responsible for Christian belief that Hebrew prophecies describe the kingdom of Jesus' second coming, and not the Zionist vision of a man-made new world order. Did you hear that? He's distinguished that Jews are not Hebrew. He didn't say the Jew prophecy, he said the Hebrew prophecy. Man, come on, man. He thinks he believes in the Hebrew prophecy as a Christian. And he's thinking that the Zionist belief is the man-made new world order. If y'all didn't catch that? And it precisely because Christians persist in this belief, they remain blind to the reality of Zion. It took a long time, y'all. Rubbing my face right now. That's not everything. I'm not going to read the rest of it. When you guys look at it, you can pick up where it says, Scofield served as an agent by which the Zionists paralyzed Christianity while they prepared America for our final conquest. That's where you're going to pick up when you get there. It has been nice. I wish somebody would. And for those 72 names, right on, of a three-letter being, right on. Once again, my God does not have many names. He has one name. Let's get it right, y'all. Let's get it right. This guy's talking about Kabbalah worship. He talks about that. He's talking about other stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's deep, right? It's deep. It's deep. He brought up the Talmud and the Kabbalah. F with me, y'all. F with me. Until the next time. Part 3.